This week, you're going to see many different Whitmer brothers come to the Lord through Joseph Smith, hoping to have guidance about how to spend their time. And they get this guidance that they should focus their efforts on bringing souls unto Christ. And that led me towards what we learned from President Nelson about choices for eternity and using our time on this earth to prepare to meet God and to join in this gathering. And I kept thinking about what happens to the testimonies of these different people, especially these Whitmer brothers, although they are strong and steady. And I certainly think we should focus our attention on this time in their life when they are strong and steady. They're not always strong and steady. Some of them fall away from the church. And that's hard, I think, as teenagers to understand if their testimonies are so strong and they really did get clear witnesses. I mean, these are some of the 8 witnesses of the Book of Mormon. They have miraculous experiences. How is it that they can then wane in their testimony? And I think President Nelson was trying to warn us about this as well. This is what he said: I plead with you to take charge of your testimony. Work for it, own it, care for it, nurture it so that it will grow. Feed it truth. Don't pollute it with false philosophies of unbelieving men and women and then wonder why your testimony is waning. Engage in daily, earnest, humble prayer. Nourish yourself in the words of ancient and modern prophets. Ask the Lord to teach you how to hear him better. Spend more time in the temple and in family history work. As you make your testimony your highest priority, watch for miracles to happen in your life. I loved President Nelson's invitation to take hold. This is like, use your agency and take hold. So I wanted to create an object lesson that reinforces that message about its testimony is something that is living. It's a living witness, and it will change based on the environment that we surround it with and the discipleship that we're trying to do. And the easiest way I've found to do this is to give you an experiment. So you're going to take a few different bottles. It helps to have one that's clear so that your kids can see what happens inside the bottle. And you need 2 containers full of ice water and very hot water. I probably wouldn't do like scalding hot water because sometimes it does splash up a little bit, but you want it nice and hot, like at least hot cocoa temperature. And for us, it was easiest to do it with 2 pitchers of water. So if you're in the church, just grab some of those from the kitchen and then you can easily do this. If you have snow on the ground, put the snow in one of those pitchers and then fill it with a little bit of cold water so that you have a really, really cold option. This is an object lesson that you can either do with bubble solution, which was new for us. This is Violet's idea. Or you can do it with a balloon as well. Personally, I liked the bubble one better. It felt more magical to me. And I also like that it almost disappears for a second and then comes back. So I like the bubble version, but the balloon version works just as well. So basically what you're going to do is show your kids how the environment impacts that bubble that's forming on the top. So you're going to take your empty bottle and you're going to dip it in bubble solution. It doesn't have to be anything fancy, just what you would buy at the dollar store or just make with dish soap and water. Dip it in there so that you can see that film across the top of your bottle, just like you do with a bubble wand. And then you're going to take that bottle and you're going to put it in the different environments. So I would start with the hot water. So take that hot water and submerge at least half, maybe 2/3 of your bottle into that hot water. And then keep your eyes fixed on the bubble on the top. Because as those molecules of, in the air inside the bottle change, they expand, which makes that bubble on the top grow. And it's just magical to watch it. If it's in balloon form, you see that same thing happen. And you get this balloon that it doesn't fully inflate, but it starts to stand upright and it fills with air. Then you're going to talk about how being in a good environment, being around truth and around believers actually helps your testimony to grow. There's a lot of this in the For the Strength of the Youth guide. This is why we're encouraged to have good friends and to surround ourselves with good music and good choices, right? So that's that environment. Now you're going to want to take that same bottle with the bubble still on it and move it over to the cold one. Same thing, submerge it down into that snowy water and watch what happens. That balloon or that bubble slowly shrinks down. And it shrinks so much, in fact, especially in the bubble version, that it will go inside the bottle. And you can't even tell it's there. That's why I like the bubble version so much, because it almost looks like it disappears entirely. This is when you can take a chance to talk to your kids about the environment you're in. When you choose to surround yourself with friends who pull you down, when you choose to pick up habits that pull you down, like swearing or pornography or other things, it actually chills the environment around you because you no longer have the Spirit with you the same way. And it impacts your testimony. You can't keep the same testimony. It shrivels a little bit or shrinks. The beauty is, it doesn't have to stay that way. That's when you're going to take that bottle and move it back to the hot water. As soon as you take that bottle and put it back where it was, it reacts again. Sometimes with the bubble form, it'll pop and you'll need to re-dip, but the balloon one's a little easier that way. But I just love seeing that bubble go from almost invisible in the bottle to when you put it back in the hot water and watching it come out of the ashes almost. Like there's just something so empowering about that, because that's repentance. You see that with the witnesses, right? Some of the witnesses leave the church and never return. Some of the witnesses come back to full fellowship. But their testimonies of the gospel, especially when it comes to these plates, they never waver. And I think we can learn a lot from their examples, both of those that repented and came back and those who didn't, and watching what we can see from their stories. I give you some links in the notes if you want to understand a little bit more about what they experienced, but I'm hoping this will help your kids treasure up President Nelson's words a little more and understand how their choices about their environments really impact how they feel about the gospel of Jesus Christ and how willing they are to live it.